8C83352, and I want to show what this is. This is called stalking, remaining in the path. This is Ontario Police. This is placement using their lights. Understand they are in relevant position to where I am at the museum. And this is, I'm standing right now on Holt Boulevard. So this is P.O.C. The moment that I look up and I notice it, which again, third parties, group stalkers, the entity that's monitoring is paying very close attention. The moment that I look up and notice the group stalking conduct by Ontario Police, which again I'm capturing as they are in alignment as I'm walking on the sidewalk at Holt Boulevard, as they are engaged in what is presence. Understand, this is monitoring conduct while I am at the museum. They're in relevant position while they're group stalking using their lights on their vehicles at what is the intersection of what is Holt Boulevard and I believe Palm. They're in direct alignment. Understand this is P.O.C. This is the same as maintaining what is the form for stalking presence, where an entity is monitoring, where you've got a tow truck scene with third-party group stalkers, tow truck and vehicles, and the police present using their lights. The same with what is the presence of third-party group stalkers and what are the presence of the police with them talking to them on the curb, sitting in their cars. Here comes another group stalker, the same entity, 1591701. That's Ontario Police crossing path, acting with a group stalker that's loitering in relevant position at this intersection of Palm and Holt Boulevard, acting with third-party group stalkers that are patrolling in traffic, such as Snap-on, California 538718, license 69569Z1, in relevant position at the traffic light on my opposite side. Understand this is P.O.C. Ontario Police are loitering at Palm, and I'm gonna go ahead and capture that. That is called stalking with audible activity. They're creating that audible activity right here at the deli, where they are creating loud noise. Understand, they're doing so with simultaneity to my operation of my communication devices while these group stalkers wearing Stater Brothers uniforms, frying chicken, are monitoring back here in the back, okay? They're psychos. That's P.O.C. This is the ongoing behavioral pattern inside of any venue, as already shown. This is Stater Brothers at 646 West Holt. Understand real-time knowledge of what I'm doing as I am doing it inside of the bathroom. They're sex offenders. 9:22 a.m. (7N14973). In case I didn't read this one already, 8RTM528. 8CPC425. And 7AJR952. Two ragged, aged, old biddies who look dirty. Understand, they're monitoring. Okay? Monitoring. It is currently 9:48 a.m. This is 7EAS308. All right, that's a third-party group stalker who needs a different hairpiece in her head. I have no respect for stalkers, for those monitoring American citizens, and doing so under the pathetic guise of which I am stripping it all down. You're looking at bare bones criminal activity. Bare bones criminal activity, and they're pathetic, and they've been doing it for a very long time. You see them as the criminals and the perverts that they are. DU744. And that's why they are spoken of in such manner, because that's how disgusting that they are. They're cockroaches. It is 9:48 a.m. Group stalking at Gloria's, 45700, 8AYK905, 8RSB251, 8F84943, 7DEE002, DMOCHIS or SI, substantially slender, can't really see it. 7YNP302, 7NAN500. It is currently 10:34 a.m. And the third party that I stated was group stalking at Gloria's. What I mean by that is she was literally sitting in her car the entire time while the helicopter's flying over my head in a circle like a psychopath. Like a psychopath, she's sitting in her car waiting while I'm at the crosswalk, all right, under the state's fake sun, which is present, okay? And this is at the moment that I cross the street, then she drives past, okay? That's group stalking, 8AYK905. 7YAK825, 8Y99143, 5VZZ866, 6XNB673, 8EBK591, 6ZRN203. Let's wait for them to cross path. That's Gloria's creating noise. Gloria's Cochina, they're monitoring at 401 Euclid Avenue, 8LVA258, 6LIF 720, 69074R2, 64453U1, TOP KAT, I don't think so, 7ZJL 502, 5UMM 317, JFTOW7, 8MVK 785, 6MRV 359, TCRE4U 97884 Z2, 6FTF 609, 7XUC 206, 5 UBC 172. Six EFT 609, correction. Yeah, I think I said 6 FTF. That's 6 ETF. That's audible activity. That's criminal conduct, cooperation between them. They're not honking at another person. That's P.O.C. 5 KRU 400 monitoring, creating that audible activity. 8 TJK 930. XP 91606. 8 PIP 955. 8 SXE 749. 7 BBT 205. 6 XOB 891. 59870L1. 7 NET 736. No license plate on the back of that commercial vehicle. 7 NWC 159 are substantially similar. 23358Y2, 5SJU 566, 8RZG 630, 8NQA 450, 8BKJ 679. It's currently 10:37 a.m. They are driving south on Euclid Avenue, approaching those traffic cameras. They are driving from Euclid Avenue west onto D Street and driving east on D Street. All crossing path. This is license 7GIJ365. KLC 702. I already read this plate, 98254T2. That's the Flores towing. All right, sounding its vehicle. This would be the audible activity, the honking of the horns. I'm standing here at the intersection. My luggage carrier, just so you know what I'm doing, and they create audible activity to keep you surrounded. They're all monitoring. So you've got the honking of the horns. You've got the starting of that tow truck right here in alignment to me, and this is while I am adjusting my luggage carrier, and so they're creating ongoing audible activity. 7PYA471, 8EBN209, 5VDZ050. Amazon Prime crossing path, driving north on Euclid Avenue. That is a large truck that's carrying an Amazon Prime trailer. Understand, even that conduct is a communication of a threat. That is the company that is monitoring, using its logo as a means of communicating to the target individual who is aware of the fact that they're being monitored. It's all intentional conduct. 5UOB 321, 8AJJ 918. And that goes toward prosecution. 8LHK 873. Tangible and intangible harm while you're monitoring. These are sickos. These are psychopaths. That's how they operate. 8NUA 073, 5MWZ 730, 7YDS 117, 8GKR 100. All right, I'm going to fix my luggage carrier now. JMP 178, 5 TRU 229. Z2 19390Y1 6LBV 428 J675SO 7XTU 892 16655G2 7WHP 951 6XLT 574 7YWJ 290 and F776HO 49055A3 8FXN 059 CHSAA65 8PMK 287 7VOG 574. They're monitoring at Gloria's, Cochina Mexicana at 401 Euclid Avenue. They're monitoring at Rogers Flowers. They're monitoring at the, let's see, where is that business at? At Herradura. I forgot what that business is called, but these, there's one in particular where they engage in a lot of light activity intentionally. 12735X2. Oh, we already know Omnitrans is monitoring. This is 6F38243. California 40428, that's Omnitrans. 1404973. 7TYL903. This is a license plate. It is currently, by the way, it is 10:42 a.m. 6KOT 699, 8 GUC 446, 8 HIZ 390, 8 FBZ 428, 6 NCA 385, Frontier Communications monitoring, crossing path. 8N11482. Understand, Omnitrans is a means of criminal facilitation. That's a large, moving communication device, if you will. Okay, that's bus number 1329. Creating audible activity using its speaker, that's intentional conduct as it's driving from D Street onto Euclid Avenue. That's turning around me. That's P.O.C. The state's fake sun is right here, right over the bank where I'm standing at the intersection. That's P.O.C. Okay, Omnitrans engaged in the same conduct as 8LBL016 with minor children in her car, and she is group stalking. Okay. Disgusting cockroaches. 7WYF268 45144K2 5TOK518 7LMF695 6RDH658 8RER239 6NVL570 6HHL970 MYLT6SD2998 LT2 7RUB076 7WYF268, I think I read that one. 7RUB714, yeah, I think I read those. 7VC, 7VZC296, 58492C2, ELHUESO. It is 10:44 a.m. Group stalking at the traffic intersection. They just maintain presence at the lights. Ongoing crossing a path as they're driving past. Listening to every word you're saying. It's the same conduct. They are psychopaths at the traffic lights. 8SDW889. Under a fake sun while the state is circling above you in a helicopter, okay? 8NCC348. This is the prosecution of the people's state of California. They're a bunch of sickos. Issues. 7XDZ435 included. 6UYV740. 6LCN356. 6LKF791. 8EHV918. 7TKX816. 7ZTA758, 8FNW677, 8CMB652, 4G67721, 7JYE150, 7GKN341. Kids, I didn't say that? I think I did though. This is 6L84913, Arturo's number 1028708. That's the California license number, monitoring, okay? Ontario Police, on the street in relevant position making a U-turn like third-party group stalkers do, P.O.C. License, this is a third-party license, 8ADR405. This is license. I'm going to get Ontario police who are group stalking standing at the sidewalk of the U.S. Bank. Behind traffic, 7LKF 791, 7NGA 775, 8TGT 834, 36337K2, 8NDA 450. They're all monitoring with the state that's stalking by police standing on the sidewalk at the U.S. Bank. MEUSE B2, MGIANNA, 5YZJ 130, 7GOG 971, 6RB, I'm sorry, I can't get that one, 6RBB 375, potentially somewhere, 8PGX 211, 4WDT 783, 7JLN 202, 5VWR 722. License plate of Ontario Police 13, who is that? Ah, this is hilarious. I'm still gonna read the license plate. 136 1011. This is Taylor and Guerrero. It's 10:46 a.m. That is P.O.C. It's 11:35 a.m. That's the state amplifying plane activity as it is flying directly over me as I'm sitting on the side of the Ontario OVITT Family Community Library with simultaneity to my logging on to the Ontario Library Wi-Fi. All right. First you hear a loud boom, like the building is being hit. Understand that's just audible activity. That's called stalking with audible activity. That's monitoring conduct. And then the plane activity. It's 11:36 a.m. 11:37 a.m. The state sounding sirens in close proximity, stopping 2 seconds later as it is aware that I'm touching my phone. There's a siren starting again. That's P.O.C. It's audible activity. While the fire department is right here at the turn circle on my left, sirens sounding behind, amplified, that's P.O.C. That's group stalking. Understand that is the state that is acting by plane, by sirens. Okay? That's P.O.C. Fire truck driving onto Euclid Avenue, going north on Euclid. Fire truck driving at the turn circle. Understand they've been present, all right? They have been loitering in relevant position, group stalking, while the state is flying over by plane, sounding sirens with real-time simultaneity to my activity on a communication device. That's Ontario Fire, all right? That's sirens that are amplified, starting and stopping as they're aware that I'm documenting that which I have already documented. Then they're restarting the sirens as they listen to me state the fact that the siren stopped after 2 seconds. And then the fire trucks engaging in patrolling, driving at the turn circle, going south on Lemon, and then the Ontario fire truck going north on Euclid. Understand that they're driving in both directions, maintaining presence while sounding sirens. That's group stalking, and doing so in concert with the people of the state of California, with a group stalker sitting under the shaded area in relevant position, monitoring. Okay? This is P.O.C. It's 11:39 a.m. Ontario fire trucks have been present, by the way. They just engaged in moving and using sirens. They've been present while the state is flying over by aircraft while they're monitoring my communication device usage. Group stalking and fire trucks, that's the psychopath. P.O.C. That is the state flying over, monitoring, as I am Googling my name, Erica Lorraine Spencer, on the internet, and understand that this is a means of the criminal obstruction of justice by the state of California on the venue of the internet. This is also in violation of 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, subsections 1 and subsections 2. They're engaged in the ongoing shuffling around of maneuvering based on what it is I've published, based on what the state is engaged in actively seeking to conceal, which is incriminating evidence. And understand YouTube has the most substantial and recent documentation and videos. YouTube is nowhere at the top of the Google search for Erica Lorraine Spencer, and understand that this is where YouTube was before. Before I engaged in placing on the front of my page that which is clearly stating who I am, the purpose of that channel, the videos speaking to the fictitious prosecution of the state, the evasion of service of process by the state, specifically playing the pasting the link of the podcast of that criminal who happens to be a judge, Thomas Garza of the San Bernardino Superior Court. This is the ongoing documentation, the itemization of that evidence by date, by venue, and this is the absence of what is YouTube. Understand this is the ongoing activity, and this is Google, all right? Changing what is the search results minute by minute. But this is my searching my name, Erica Lorraine Spencer, and the ordinary observer would see the absence. You would not see YouTube, which should be one of the first results. Understand, it should be the California bar. This is, understand, before I engaged in documenting and publishing the state's criminal activity as it was systematically being documented by video, audio, and images. Understand, every time I have Googled my name in the past, which I have never been on social media like that before, the California bar was always the first result. And then it was some bootleg All California Attorneys website, which had my name and inaccurate information of my employment with Mandarich Law Group, which I have not worked with them since I voluntarily resigned in 2016. And when I sought to have them remove my information, they refused to remove it, and then even published on that website the fact that I told them to, requested them to remove my information, and they did not. They kept it up there. It was called All California Attorneys. I do not know what that website is about, but it does not contain all California attorneys, first of all. I have specifically Googled other California attorneys whose names I know, and they're not on there, but my name is included on that website, and it was inaccurate information, and they refused to remove my information after I lawfully demanded that they do so, and then they published information about that lawful demand, and they did not remove it. Anyway, those are the only two results that ever came up, and it was always California bar. As I've created or used my YouTube in order to publish this evidence, YouTube was always at the top of that channel. And understand, this is before I engaged in the detailed organization of that evidence, okay, where it was not so much in quote unquote a danger, all right? YouTube was at the top. Google is in, and Google, understand, is a third-party venue, a third-party facilitating venue, engaging in real-time, I would say, juggling of what is the same exact name, Erica Lorraine Spencer, no variation of that, and I'm not creating any more websites. There is no, I don't have a substantial amount of different things that I'm doing that are going to create in this wide variance of search results when you are looking for my name. Understand that this is a means of criminal obstruction of justice. Having what is Tumblr, having what is TikTok, TikTok posting, publishing, not my link to my page, but some random irrelevant, just, I don't even know what it is. It's talking about some soundtrack. It's not the link, the ordinary traditional manner of publishing a link when you're searching for a name. I have a TikTok page, so what is supposed to come up when you generate that is the link to that page, okay? Not identifying a specific post under that page, okay? This is why you share links, this is why you publish that, and this is how you would identify, especially when the targeted individual is publishing criminal activity by a government, and this is the only means whereby you are seeking to what is confront that entity and prosecute it, because the courts, again, as you are documenting and publishing, that are also engaged in criminal obstruction of justice and monitoring you are fully engaged in facilitation of that criminal system of monitoring, okay? So this is an ongoing threat. This is perpetrated by Google. This is perpetrated by YouTube. This is perpetrated by TikTok. This is perpetrated by third-party venues such as Reddit, engaged in publishing criminal defamation by group stalkers who are getting online and engaging in what is patently false and that which has already been proven by my documentation. This is why they will be subject to criminal prosecution under federal law, okay, in a federal forum. This is that which is an ongoing method of infliction of inhumane suffering, where you are not only monitoring and then you're engaging in what is the criminal defamation of that targeted individual, which, by the way, is carrying on the narrative desired by that public entity. It is the pattern of conduct to state that there is no such thing as monitoring by a government, that it's that of a paranoid schizophrenic. That's P.O.C., okay? That is P.O.C. That is classic textbook P.O.C. That is the reason why third-party group stalkers and the state engage in what is defamation. Hello, this is what Lisa Rogan did, throwing me into a mental ward, where she is engaged in what is a fictitious prosecution, where she is engaged in kidnapping. This is why you throw into the mental ward, because that's the pattern of conduct. That is their ultimate destination for that targeted individual who in any way becomes aware, i.e. becomes a threat, and is aware that they're being monitored, okay? They immediately throw them into the mental ward, claiming that they are crazy. This is not working with Erica Lorraine Spencer. I am showing you what is the state's pattern of conduct. Getting online and engaging that criminal activity, you are subject to federal prosecution. You are literally documenting yourself online, okay? That is P.O.C., that's what Reddit is engaged in, also documented, engaged in refusing to remove that criminally defaming material by group stalkers. All right, understand that is not freedom of speech. You are in the shoes of the government who is monitoring me on this forum of the internet, on these third-party facilitating venues, Reddit, YouTube, Google, whatever it is, I'm being monitored. Those are third-party facilitating venues on the venue of the internet, where they are speaking as the government, not as individuals. And that speech is that which is perpetrating and feeding to, facilitating that entity's pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring. Criminal obstruction of justice is that which is facilitating that criminal system of monitoring, because the pattern of conduct of insulating and concealing that criminal system that is in ceaseless operation is served by such conduct as defamation. Not only are you monitoring, but then you're engaging in defamation of that target individual that claims that you are monitoring. And that is the state's pattern of conduct. That's design, okay? You are not in any way exercising freedom of speech. You're not speaking as an individual. You're speaking as a state on the internet, on the venue of the internet, on the third-party facilitating venue platforms, all right? Every single last one of those third-party group stalkers that are speaking, those third-party facilitating venues on the venue of the internet, subject to federal prosecution. This is documented on the internet. I want to speak to Google, who is engaged in ongoing real-time variation of search results under my name, YouTube Nowhere Seen, all right? This is going to be addressed under federal law. Not only are you not going to be able to completely disregard what is federal group stalking and monitoring, you will not also, what YouTube has engaged in, when YouTube is Google, engaged in the unlawful, but it is also that which is in direct conflict, which I've already documented, a removal of what is evidence against that public entity. And by the way, it was paperwork, where YouTube removed that paperwork speaking to the fictitious prosecution, all right? That's facilitation, all right? And it was in violation of their own policy, having no reason whatsoever. But guess what? Even if they came up with a reason, it is evidence against a public entity. You're not going to do that whatsoever. That's a violation of federal law. On the venue of the internet, criminal facilitation. This is YouTube, this is Google, the same party that in no way do you see YouTube, and understand that should be at the top of the results. It is the most relevant. It is directly under my name. All of my social media platforms are under my full name, Erica Lorraine Spencer. The state is flying over me right now while it is monitoring me on the website, Googling my name, where YouTube is nowhere seen. Understand this is intentional conduct. It's called criminal obstruction of justice. This is the absence of coincidence, where the state is monitoring me here where I am physically in relevant position, monitoring on the internet, engaged in ongoing criminal obstruction of justice, messing with, tampering with the internet search results of my name,
where I am documenting a government engaged in criminal conduct of monitoring in concert with the people of that state, posing a direct threat to your life, physical safety, and overall well-being, is called criminal obstruction of justice. And those entities on that venue of the internet, this is speaking to 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, subsections 1 and subsections 2, and they are engaged in criminal facilitation. This is going to prosecution while, mind you, the state is flying over my head. All right, this is that concerted conduct. This is not a coincidence that YouTube is nowhere to be found at the top of the search results where it belongs. Okay, the more that the evidence against the state is detailed and itemized and very specific and highly damning, the more that it is buried more and more in the search results. YouTube should be at the top of the search results, period. Okay, it's 11:59 a.m. and that's what the state is doing as it's flying over my head and monitoring what I'm doing on the internet as I'm Googling my name. This is going to the prosecution of the state of California. Understand Google and YouTube, principal places of business. These are California companies. They are on the internet and they serve the state's purposes, and there shall be, under federal law, which I fully intend to enforce, there shall be, where you are operating this, you will no longer be institutions and companies that are facilitating this unprecedented level of criminal conduct against American citizens. To the contrary, you will be obligated under federal law based on your position, based on your ability to serve against a public entity's ability to do this. You claim to be, that's what you're about, right? This is what these companies claim to do. This is how they present themselves on the public platform. I am speaking to the truth of the matter, and this is based on their conduct. This is not opinion. You're seeing the reality of what Walmart is about, the reality of what Amazon and FedEx are about, the reality of what McDonald's, all of these companies, they're systematically monitoring on the run sexual violence, okay? Monitoring American citizens, all right, targeting them. That's what they're really about. That's the truth of the matter, while they're serving families under COVID-19, under the pandemic. Okay, guess what? You are known by the truth of what you are trying to conceal, not by the good that you're doing that everybody sees that you're publishing. It's based on what you're really doing that you don't want anybody else to know. That's the true identity of these companies, and they represent the people of the state of California, all of them subject to federal prosecution. All right, all of them subject to be exposed as the criminals that they are behind those logos that they are presenting to the public. You shall be mandated where the targeted individual is seeking to protect themselves and confront that entity and enforce their constitutional and human rights. You will no longer be able to engage in this sort of chicanery that Google is engaged in, and understand it's not a coincidence. It's P.O.C., all right? And they are subject to prosecution for that. While, mind you, the state is flying over my head in airplanes, no, we won't be doing that. It's 12:02 p.m.
That's audible activity by the group stalker that I captured on video, and the state is flying over at the same time inaudibly, flying over at high elevation over the same 208 women apartments. That's what I'm taking pictures of. That is P.O.C. This is what the state has been doing for a prolonged period, and while that monitoring maggot, as he is appropriately called, engaging and creating audible activity using the skateboard, slamming it. As he's doing this, the state begins swarming around by helicopter and airplanes. Group stalkers crossing path. It's group conduct. All they're doing is monitoring, crossing path with minor children with her. She's a psychopath that's monitoring. That's P.O.C. And like I stated in that video, the state engages in using minors in this way. I'm assuming he's a minor. Regardless, my point is, under federal law, irrespective of the age, being engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, being prosecuted under federal law is not limited to the age of majority. Secondly, being of the age of minority subjects their parents who are engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring as well, both under either acting directly or engaging in criminal facilitation using their minor children. And thirdly, what I'm providing is the visual of what he's been engaged in. Group stalking, remaining at Ontario OVITT Family Community Library, stalking with activity using the skateboard. What you're hearing in the background is nothing but noise. It's another method of audible activity, while I just captured what is a picture of the state engaged in the same stalking conduct. It is P.O.C. And this is the ongoing conduct the state's been engaged in all day long while its light source remain, aiming light underneath the shaded area on the surface and on the sidewalk. And this is the same exact behavioral pattern. That it is currently 5:27 p.m. and I did take pictures of that. And I did capture video. That's the significance of that video capture. That's P.O.C. (5:35 p.m. flying over by helicopter, flying over again audibly. 5:36 p.m. It's 5:37 p.m. That's a helicopter again. And understand that's amplified audible activity, making it louder for monitoring purposes. All right, that is speaking to what the little monitoring maggot was doing on a skateboard. This is in no way alleviating what he was maintaining presence, creating audible activity. I remain surrounded. The state is always stalking in its fire trucks and police vehicles, monitoring to that. This is what the state was doing at Walmart at 1540, by the way, flying over by helicopter, creating audible activity in a different city, Upland, California, monitoring there as well. That's what the state is doing, and that's what that little monitoring maggot was doing in relevant position. It is 5:39 p.m. Understand everything that you document with regard to the people of the state of California, with regard to the online venues who are engaged in criminal facilitation. This all goes toward the threat that they equally pose. Engage in criminal facilitation online, manipulating internet searches such that the target individual remains subject to that threat of stalking via helicopter while they're monitoring you, posing a direct threat to your life, physical safety. This is going toward Google. This is going toward YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. That's P.O.C. Criminal facilitation is criminal conduct within the state's pattern of conduct of monitoring via communication devices. When you're engaged in criminal obstruction of justice, you are a group stalking and monitoring with that state. You're engaged in their pattern of conduct. Concealing and insulating itself from exposure and prosecution is the pattern of conduct. And that's 5:40 p.m. The state engaging in swarming around over the Ontario OVITT Family Library, 280 North Limit Apartments, while the state is group stalking in its emergency vehicles, fire trucks, and police cars that are going nowhere, sounding their sirens like the psychopaths they are, stalking, and using helicopter in concert. It's 5:40 p.m. Five YXU 490. It is 6:04 p.m. by the way. Group stalking at the intersection of Euclid and C Street via traffic lights. All right, sitting in traffic, maintaining presence. Group stalking with the state. It is, let's see, license 8 EJ. Let me see. Oh, they're so funny. Trying to make super sharp turns so I can't see their plate. These are psychopaths know they're being documented. 6KRF681, and the state is flying over Euclid Avenue right now, or they're sitting at the traffic light. Okay, this is how you know what they're doing. License 8AJG 199, 8RML 498. Um, 4DYY 296, 7ZUD 067. L30963. This is license plate. Let's see. I'm at C Street and Euclid, now on the southbound side. This is 7YVZ 837. Let me get these license plates over here. So the state has maintained presence where I was all day long at the OVITT Family Library on the side with its light source, flying over 280 North Linden, so it's following as I'm walking, okay? They're stalking as well. 4SHG 0768 HAH 162. This is 6FUM 781, 7ZEJ 972, 363. I can't really see the rest of that one. But this is license plate 8CVL 684 and hold on, 8FCV 936, 8LJF 051, and this one is 8PHC 255. And if you heard that in the background, as they start driving, the helicopter flies directly over. All right, it's P.O.C. They're one group monitoring all together. 8GG J605, substantially similar, driving southbound on Euclid Avenue. That's why it's called group stalking. It's currently 6:07 p.m. Let's see, this is FLYONT. Whatever that is. That looks like an old blue license plate. The old ones that are blue with the yellow characters on it. VPL 122, NVP 0018, 7YHW 058, BKV 7132. This is an Arizona plate, creating light activity as they're on the side of the sidewalk as I'm crossing the street. I understand that they're creating light in the path as they're on the sidewalk and I'm walking on what is C Street. So I just want to get that 8FJ 505, substantially similar. I can't really see that license plate from here. That is the sound of what was a group. That's a group stalker with communication device in hand, monitoring with this other one that's sitting in their truck. And he uses his car as light and audible activity at the moment that I turn the corner. 29495C3 sitting in their car. And he sounds his alarm again. This is 6XJP331. He's the one that, as I turn the corner, is already ready in position to be walking out of his car, using it as a means of light activity and audible activity. And the group stalker that's sitting in their car, monitoring me to that. Right? And the state is always stalking via aircraft. That's group stalking conduct. It is currently 6:10 p.m. Group stalkers walking all around in the dark while the state's flying all around. Where am I? I'm at C Street in Palm. This is, let me get this license, 8SOF 605. I'm at, what is it, C Street in Fern now. 5LJK 885. So I'm walking west on C Street. So I'm approaching what should be, I believe, Vine Avenue. And understand everyone on this street, they are group stalking. They're monitoring as I'm in motion walking. The state is always stalking via aircraft. The state is always stalking via police, fire, and ambulance who remain in relevant position. While third-party groups, like that's the people of the state of California, are stalking with light. They are maintaining presence in the path and chiefly using their vehicles as a means of that light activity. All right, that's group stalking, and that's what's ongoing. I just want to be clear of where I'm at on this street. They're all in their homes monitoring. It's currently 6:14 p.m. This is, let's see, 8 DFD 412.
5MNX001. The motorcycler, he's headed toward the traffic cameras at Vine and Holt. That is 8PMX082, crossing path. 8TBF 758, crossing path. 8FJP234, crossing path. This is 93336Z1, crossing path, coming out of the alley, crossing path. Driving forward on Vesta. This is license 8FRU 405. SBN 682. 8TXA 139. 7AVN 407. 8SFZ 628. All right, while they're crossing path, the state is aiming light onto the surfaces. For example, as this Nissan Maxima drives north on Vine, coming from the traffic cameras, by the way. 5MZA, I can't really see the rest of that plate. While they are driving north on Vine, the state is aiming light onto the gates. Their headlights are not creating that light activity. They're monitoring. 7GIJ365. Okay, they're just maintaining presence, just crossing path. Knows exactly where I am, maintaining presence on purpose, monitoring with the state that is creating additional light activity, not occurring from their headlights. All right, arriving before they're even crossing path. 8JX, I can't really see the rest of them. It ends with 171. Coming from the traffic cameras at Vine. Understand what they're doing is monitoring. That's what you're seeing on the traffic cameras. Driving both on Holt and turning onto Vine from Holt Boulevard. Turning what would be north onto Vine. That's where I'm at Vine and Vesta. They're monitoring. And they're intentionally coming down the street to cross path. I'm now walking, this is west on Vesta Street. And it is 6:17 p.m. CLEMF. That is the helicopter in the background. Another indication that they are monitoring. Okay? Oops. Uh, 8BQU 906 sitting in their car in the driveway while the helicopter is flying over. All right, that's in their vehicles, in their homes, monitoring systematically. Group stalker walking past on the sidewalk while the helicopter is flying over. P.O.C. Third-party group stalker parked on the sidewalk, flashing lights on the vehicle while the helicopter is flying over. That's P.O.C. And this is literally why I read all of their license plates on this street already. Currently, let me read this one again. 7H72689, sitting in their car. Sitting in their car behind them while the helicopter just flew directly over. And this one was flashing their lights, light activity in relevant position, 8TEF 56B or 568. Let's get that. It's a red Honda. That's 8TEF 568. Group stalking. Monitoring American citizens. Knows exactly who they are monitoring as well. It's the absence of coincidence engaging in the identical behavioral pattern while the state is engaged in that ongoing stalking as well. That's called P.O.C. And they're doing so not only on their cars where they're in their cars where they're stalking on the sidewalk, they're doing so in their homes. This is license plate 6NZT 987. 5KW 052, so this number, it's a Toyota Camry. 6J00222. This is 3NUJ275. And group stalking with their lights on their cars, just patrolling like cockroaches. They're like insects with their cars. They're just swarming around in relevant position at the opposite side of Vesta. It's currently 6:20 p.m. All right, that's audible activity and light activity as this group stalker comes approaching the corner. Go on ahead. He creates light activity using his brights on me. That's touching. 7RVD731. All right, he's monitoring and using his lights as a means of touching. All right, he knows exactly who I am. He knows that I'm documenting, or he or she. It's a group stalker and it's a sex offender. 46874W1. Uh, 8 ATG 505, I believe. Group stalker pounding in his dumpster while another one blinking their lights in their headlights. So that is group stalker sitting in their car while they're creating that noise. 5UMK829 at 144. This is Bonita at that residence, monitoring with the group stalker sitting in their car on both sides of the street. This one sitting in his car, again in position already, walking out, car lights on as they're awaiting my arrival with simultaneity, right? 93336Z1 is the one that did that. Lights from one side, noise from the opposite side of the street. Group stalker sitting on the opposite side and providing light through that group stalker that is getting out and is readily using his vehicle as lights as he's getting out, crossing path at the same time. All of that is simultaneity of action with my presence directly in the path. Okay, that's group stalking. All right, patrolling in and out of the Stater Brothers parking lot. 4ZKT821. Amongst that group that you're seeing driving in and out of the shopping plaza at Bonita, they're monitoring. Sitting in their cars in the parking lot, they're monitoring. They already know that I'm coming. Six PJR 941. 8PLU 504. Headlights on while this other third-party group stalker crosses path with loud music. That's group conduct. They are literally acting together to monitor while they are listening to their criminal conduct being documented and their license plates being recited. All right, 24267C3, 5DBC063, 8GQH041, 7EQH574, 8HLN807, 8C83352, 7ZFZ546, 7NLY565, 6BAK615, 8ATE616. This is a paper plate, literally taped on. 6ZXV401. That's not the paper plate license. The paper plate is AV08F66. JHLRD 78986C 918991. The VIN number 8RTW 956. 7LP L938. 7JPL 938, excuse me. BC14N38, it's a paper plate, 5CMH 969. All right, they are patrolling in the parking lot. That's what you'll see on the traffic cameras. This is all monitoring. They're just patrolling around, maintaining presence, and it's group conduct. So 7UMD 794, 5UVJ 748. Um, 7S48215, 5YSB 291. That was the one that was patrolling, passing with the loud music while the other group stalker had headlights facing me. 5HDD 898, 7YEN 328, 7FTV 597, 8ECD 775, 6KKD 9455, 7ASJ 267, 7LZS 546, 8ULB 584, 7KKT 501, 7VQG 479, 8HZC 416, 6CPY 355, entering into the parking lot, which you'll see on camera. Omnitrans is crossing path while 8RTM 077 is entering the parking lot. This is BJYZ 190, 6KWY 988. That is Omnitrans westbound. They are monitoring as well. That is passing light activity. That is concerted conduct with the third parties that are literally swarming around in the parking lot. In case I did not read this one, 7UHH700. Um, 7 P.O.P. 890. 6 GER 356, 7 JWS 452, 7 EPT 729, 5 LZC 680. And again, I'm at the same shopping plaza, the Ontario Village, and any license plates that I already read this morning, I understand they're monitoring again. So it is relevant to recite again. 8RWP 736, they're in relevant position. And some of them were group stalking this morning, awaiting my presence. 6WJY 666, 8RTM 077. And just as they were monitoring this morning, they are present monitoring now. 4DIF 486, 7UHB 705, 4APY 607. Seven ULU 009, 8AYK 544. It's currently 6:28 p.m. inside of the Habit drive-through. This is a matter of documentation where I am and means of relevant positioning. They are monitoring inside of Habit and via the drive-through. 8PSZ 741. 8 KHT 927, 7 VPJ 585, 5 SSJ 917, 30414J1, 60342, 7 ZFZ 546, 5 ASU 543, 5 JKY 891, 7 UZC 934, 5 PKD 759, 6 PHR 298, 7XZH 397. The use of the shopping carts is intentional means of audible activity. They are not merely doing their job. This is monitoring conduct. 5WVE 180. 7 VBV 555. 7 GVH 053. 8 M24243. 8 MXJ 574. 29447U2.
8RBT 310, 8ATE 616, 5HBF 994, 8SJH 782, in case I didn't read that one already, 5SVG 719. I understand what you're looking at is a van, which is engaging in reversing and backing up. This is group conduct in order to maintain presence with light. 3EGT235 is that van. They're not having a traffic buildup. This is group conduct. It's group conduct while I stand here at the near the entrance to document license plate. 8RDW984, 5L81980, 01472S2, 8JCY726, 5HKR654. 6HVR321, 7TQP343, 7XHW883, 7T53512, 7AET924, CGF2018, that's Arizona plate, 4KPD759, came parked over here. That is the starting of an ignition as I cross path. All right, this is sitting in their cars awaiting my arrival, using their leaving or entering as a means of stalking with light, crossing path. 8TBC 957. All right, ongoing documentation is that knowledge of the absence of coincidental conduct, its ongoing behavioral pattern, and the ways in which they engage in that behavioral pattern. It is the absence of chance and ordinary conduct. It is no ordinary conduct. This is monitoring, and this is how they monitor. I already read that license plate. And they are monitoring, like I said, they are monitoring the entirety of this plaza is in relevant position. Traffic on San Antonio and Holt Boulevard and Bonita is in relevant position, and beyond that, okay? And the state is stalking via aircraft. This is always ongoing, as established. And they're monitoring inside of Stater Brothers right now, okay? That's P.O.C. It is currently 6:32 p.m. and I am entering on the cameras inside of that venue. M07 3VO 5LBN 623. M07 3VO was sitting in alignment to the entrance waiting for my arrival. Understand that that's group stalking conduct. At the same time, you have group stalker with license plate 21079C2. They, again, awaiting the arrival, knowledge of what I'm doing in real time, creating audible activity using slamming of the door, while M07 3VO creates light activity and maintains present right in front of the entrance as I exit on camera. It is currently right now 6:48 p.m. 7JSR 551, 7DZC 934, 6ETY 925, 5ZWC 393, 8MBU 763, 6SFJ 893, 11862, 7WCM 036, 8ECB 003. This is 5XHS 728, 7UUK 022, 72RN 184. Those are group stalkers in the drive-through of Habit. They're monitoring not only Habit employees, but the third-party patrons. Understand they're all third-party group stalkers. Maintaining presence, present with light, facilitating a public entity's ability to monitor systematically. All right? 8MHT 677. Maintaining presence in the path, headlights on. This is, I believe, the same group stalker present. And in the event, I go get group stalking license plates at Habit, ready, present in the event when I walk out. 8AYK544, 7VLH 308,
7TFP854 453171160, which is literally paper on the back of that car. So these psychopaths know they're being documented, and that also goes to their federal prosecution. Criminal obstruction of justice is inherent to the prosecution of the people of the state of California. It's built into the pattern of conduct. I'm showing you all the ways they engage in monitoring, all the ways they engage in criminal obstruction of justice, with knowledge that they're being documented. That is the type of sex offender and stalker that I'm documenting. 5YKU091. That's the train while group stalkers pass. That one with the construction paper on the back of their car. 8SGH125. Go on ahead. 7PHF954. All monitoring to that audible activity. State maintains presence in the airspace via aircraft. State maintains presence in their fire trucks, police cars, and ambulances. State ongoing amplification of audible activity. That's what that train is. This is, I think I might have read this one on 5CMH969. They're monitoring inside of Didi's, inside of La Mexicana, Little Caesars, Panda Walk. All of these stores in here where they're present, it's systematic monitoring. 7GMZ342. I'm just going in and publishing so as to identify third-party group stalkers as they are crossing paths, as they are engaging in what is federal group stalking and monitoring. All of their conduct is concerted, not only with each other, but with the state proper, meaning that public entity that's operating this system. This is a paper plate, BJ64H15. This is VIN number 1HGCV1F38LA140173. It is currently 6:52 p.m. That's audible activity. Light activity from this group stalker at the corner, AU08G36. All right, that's paper on their license plate. They're monitoring. That's the combination of the elements. Okay, they're all in relevant position. They're surrounding with audible activity, not engaging in all of the elements at one time necessarily. It's group conduct. This is why, like I spoke before, the license plate of the third party sitting in front of 144 at Bonita, no headlights on, just sitting in relevant position while the group stalker at that address, 144 Bonita, slamming the dumpster, creating audible activity, while the group stalker directly across on the opposite side of me, in their car, already out of the car at the moment that I pass the wall and am directly in their path, using lights on their vehicle. That is the combination of the elements, and that's concerted conduct while they're all in relevant position. 8 RBX 902. 8 MVL 108, in case I didn't read that one. Group stalker entering into 552 Vesta. Group stalker is turning on to Bonita. 6 VIR 505, 7 XEV 239, 7 DZC 934. Let's see, 5 DZ. Oh, this is a black Chevy truck. And I can't really see their license plate. Let's see. That is 5DZ1282. Entering into that third-party residence where the state was flying directly over the apartment building earlier today when I was here, and also flying over the street again by helicopter while I was documenting, engaged in the same conduct. A 4WLD 978, didn't really see that one. This is the same apartment complex that's monitoring. And again, that address is 552 Vesta Street.
7JSR 551, 7XFD 156, 8PZW 992. It's currently 6:56 p.m. Oh, let me get this license plate. This is 7HAH 238, excuse me. And it is currently 6:56 p.m. I am walking what is east on Vesta Street. Eight MBU 743, 7XEV 629. I didn't really see the whole plate. 7BFU 025 and 8TEF 568 was monitoring sitting in her car. She's monitoring inside of the private residence as I'm crossing path. Okay, it doesn't change. I'm giving you an example of what they're all doing. They are giving you an example of what they're all doing. 7EVH 067, 8TMF 967. Now I'm on Vesta. That is amplification of the train. That same train. Heard inside, as I've already stated, heard inside of Woodside Senior Apartment number 51, sitting in the living room. You can hear the train. That's called amplification. Standing on Holt Boulevard in Euclid Avenue, looking at the train, you don't hear anything in front of you. The sound's coming from behind you. That's called amplification of the train. Amplification of audible activity. The train is merely a method of audible activity serving the purpose of massive monitoring. Z791. Victory Tire. 7S36317. I will tell you this, there is no victory in group stalking, especially for California. This is an abysmal loss and a very serious prosecution, like I said, of epic proportions. What Google, by the way, what I've spoken to on my podcast, engaged in real-time internet search for my name, which is Uniform, the same name under which I have created all of my social media pages, which are not for mere nonsense. It is publishing criminal activity of a government, directly threatening the life, physical safety, and overall well-being of myself, a targeted individual, speaking to that which shall be mandated under federal law. And this is the criminal conduct that Google is engaged in. Understand that's how federal law is going to operate. You're engaging in criminal obstruction of justice. You are engaging in waging that same threat, perpetuating that same criminal conduct by an entity, serving its purposes. That's called facilitation. Any manner of facilitation, speaking on behalf of the state, acting on behalf of the state, physically present on behalf of the state, i.e. group stalking. And you are engaged in that whether you are online, which is a venue, the internet, or you are present in relevant position in my path physically. That is a means of federal prosecution, period. And Google engaging in what is facilitation. It is the absence of coincidence that the most relevant internet search results when you are clearly searching for my name, and those which are not the most relevant, which also happen to be sites that are not the most updated, and YouTube having remained at the top of the Google search. Also, it's not just that, it's the fact that YouTube has remained at the top of the internet search results,
And as it is now, and you see it is highly organized, I have uploaded a substantial amount of additional evidence against the state, and YouTube is nowhere near the top of the internet search results, which it should be. It should be not only based on where it was before, but based on the seriousness of what is being published on the internet, serving a purpose of what is criminal activity by government. Who's flying over my head right now? This is all going to Google. All of it. Every single last one of it. Every single last ounce. Google is engaged in the P.O.C. YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. That is the pattern of conduct, and that's not new. I've already documented this. These are the methods of a government, by the way. This is how a government monitors you. A government is not an individual. A government is an entity, and it operates through the people, through companies, through institutions, acting on its behalf. So while I have a plethora of planes flying over my head, you have group stalkers sitting in their car at their venue, and I'm going to go ahead and recite that address in a second. 7XEV239 sitting in their car with headlights in my direction. That's P.O.C. They are monitoring 7MRT136. This is 318 C Street. That's audible activity. The state is flying over. Understand they are engaging in the creation of audible activity, not ignorant of the state's monitoring me. Okay? That's the pattern of conduct. That's P.O.C. and that's not what they are doing alone. They are creating audible activity as I am moving down the street. Having children outside jumping around is in no way any evasion or diversion, from that same pattern of conduct. That group stalker whose license plate I read with the headlights facing toward me, just group stalking on the street with their headlights on and engages in movement, proceeding down the street as I walk past. That is plain group stalking, okay? Currently 7:03 p.m. That is the license plate, 8RBH020 or 8RBHQ20. I believe it's 020. Driving west on C Street. See, making a U-turn in the middle of the street so as to touch with light, 7JND031. Crossing path, license plate, 7JID 013, 7JTD 013. This is a Latino male getting out of a C-Class Mercedes, monitoring in it, okay? Nothing impressive. He's a stalker and he's a sex offender. He's a psychopath. Understand the elements while they're crossing path. Third-party group stalker at the traffic light, headlights aimed toward me. All right, that group stalker in that vehicle that I just described, the psychopath that gets out, sounding its alarm while those headlights are aimed on me. It's group conduct in motion. As you keep on walking, the elements are remaining present. It's group conduct. All right, this is perpetual engagement in the elements of light, presence, and audible activity. Headlights touching from that street, that is 8 TCN 150. Group stalking with the psychopath in the C-Class Mercedes, who is nothing impressive whatsoever. I'm going to cross the street now. Groups to understand also, while you're crossing the street, they're monitoring you, they're touching you with all their light. They're sex offenders in every single way of a federal nature while they're monitoring with communication devices. 1079 MB, 8DKV 955. Let me see. 8H79242 AW17U70. That's a paper plate. Paper. BJ34737. Substantially similar. Can't really see. They're going toward the traffic cameras at Euclid. This is 1322. Can't really see the rest of that plate either. That third party looks like he's proceeding north on Euclid. Yeah, they're approaching the traffic cameras. Again, right now the current time is 7:08 p.m. Omnitrans is en route on Euclid Avenue right now, heading north down Euclid, with all the other group stalkers monitoring as well, systematically on the run. 8SFSP, I can't really see that one, sorry. You can scratch that one, I didn't see that one. 5 ZXT217, substantially similar. Eight AIT or AT139, 411 BAR, 7SRD 511, 7UGT 765, Omnitrans bus number 2351 going northbound. This is the same bus route, 83 and 87, engaging systematic monitoring while I am at the museum, which Omnitrans is aware of. They are using that bus, a facility of interstate commerce, for audible activity in relevant position. Over 50 feet away, its speaker is heard loudly as though it is parked on the museum grounds, reciting its speaker. Understand that they maintain control over that, and it is amplified. That is audible activity while the state is stalking via aircraft at the museum, which I have already published substantial video evidence of that. Omnitrans is systematically monitoring while I'm at the museum. That is P.O.C. while they're crossing path right now. Just letting you know, this is what they're doing every time they're engaging in crossing a path on a bus, engaging in the provision of transit services to other group stalkers who are acting in concert. They're monitoring systematically, just like all of them in their private vehicles. This is license plate 6EJF190, 6FUB 914, 8SGM 606, F023T0, 8ETN 120, 7N 31693. It's currently 7:10 p.m. And again, I'm at C Street and Euclid Avenue, so that was southbound traffic. This is the northbound side. Omnitrans on that side as well. Hazard lights on in relevant position. Understand they're monitoring while I'm standing on the southbound side. Okay, that's relevant positioning. Monitoring by communication devices spans a radius. 7LBG 450 or 7LB 450, substantially similar. Can't really see it. Driving north on Euclid Avenue. 7DFY 369.
And Omnitrans, in relevant position, hazard lights on, that's called light activity, using a vehicle, in relevant position. The state is always stalking via aircraft, the state is always stalking via fire, ambulance, and police. They are monitoring me to that intentional conduct that Omnitrans is engaged in. All right? That's P.O.C. And that is the bus that is sitting at the corner of Euclid and Holt Boulevard in relevant position right now. That's P.O.C. Seven YTD 646 or 644. I didn't really see the whole plate. Omnitrans turns its hazards off and then turns them back on right now. 7WTL 721, 8W48199, 7HZY 972, 8MXB 172, 8JUN 496, 7PEK 349. Understand, monitoring with them is Omnitrans, engaging in criminal facilitation, and I'm referencing their cameras. P.O.C. It's Route 87, crossing path right now. Federal group stalking and monitoring. Bus number 1332, license 1404990. Bus number 1332. The state is aiming impossible light activity through a third-party group stalker that's at the traffic light. Substantial light aimed onto the surfaces right here behind me. I've shown pictures of that while the state was flying over me in helicopter. She's monitoring with Omnitrans, making a sharp turn to avoid. 6 U.S.C. 123, substantially similar. All right, that's not headlights that are reaching that distance, creating that substantial light. That is what I've already shown. I took a picture of that before, this metal box beside the Wells Fargo, while at the same time the state was flying over in circles by helicopter. That's called light activity. And that is while a third-party group stalker is in direct alignment to me. That's concerted conduct while they are present, okay? And this is also that which is Omnitrans is monitoring and engaging criminal facilitation for others to monitor. That's P.O.C., okay? That is also sexually violent conduct, touching all over me together while they're monitoring. Omnitrans, a sex offender, okay? 8FGU016, and the rest of them that I'm documenting. The people of the state of California are sex offenders. I am literally naming them individually. 947MHJ. It is currently 7:13 p.m. All right, the entire route there, as I'm documenting third parties, as you hear on my podcast, the state stalking via aircraft. As I took a picture of the light activity on Ontario Town Square, understand that's not a malfunction. That is a behavioral pattern. That is a hallmark, mind you. That is the conduct that I showed in the video. That's what Glen Helen Rehabilitation Center had going on all over that dorm while I was kidnapped inside of that venue and inside of the bathroom. Understand that's sexual violence while you're monitoring inside of the bathroom area where I am kidnapped, captured illegally, and they are monitoring while your genitalia is exposed, while they're listening to everything that you're doing, listening so closely they know which direction you're looking at. They know when you're what your bodily functions are doing. And how do you know that? Because they engage in that behavioral pattern of stalking with activity with simultaneity to even such minor noise, which the human ear cannot hear. That's not audible to the human ear. All right, 947 MHJ, which is a Kansas plate on this car. Understand, she gets out of her car to maintain presence while I'm crossing the street at C in Lemon. She's group stalking and doing so by being at the turn circle. Whatever, understand, under federal law and federal prosecution, this is documentation of the people of the state of California monitoring, engaged in what is contract stalking, group stalking, and this is the ways in which that they do it. This is how a government, a public entity is systematically able to monitor. And she's doing so by parking at the turn circle. I just want to be clear. She crosses path and is aware of where I'm going. This is the reality of the conduct. Is aware of where I'm going and maintains presence at that turn circle as I'm crossing the street. All right, it's called passive-aggressive stalking. So instead of driving slowly behind me step by step, she is crossing path as I am at the Wells Fargo bank, the intersection of C Street and Euclid, and she is there before I am there. Okay, in no way
any different than stalking. It's stalking conduct, and that's the entity stalking and is aware of my presence, okay? It's the absence of coincidence. This is the ongoing conduct, and that is another false premise. You're not a stalker if you're there before the target individual. No, not at all. That's how the public entity that is stalking every step of the way, who is in your home, okay, who is literally in the bathroom with you, who's at every place where you go. You are never alone. You have no privacy. It is corporate monitoring, corporate stalking, and being there beforehand is speaking to what is group stalking. That's maintenance in the path. That's how you group stalk. They don't have to creep behind me, driving in slow motion as I'm walking step by step. They maintain presence in the path, and that's how a public entity monitors, okay? Just want to be clear on that. That's exactly what she did. It is currently 7:16 p.m., and I have returned to the side of the library. And again, the state present all day long stalking, documenting the methods of audible activity, some of which I captured in picture and video. The state engaging and following me from here, which you heard on the podcast, that's what I was speaking to, the light activity at Ontario Town Square. That is a hallmark. That's not a malfunction. That is the behavioral pattern, okay? That's a well-documented tactic, if you will. And that is that which occurs indoors and outdoors. And it is means of monitoring. It's light activity. And their presence, meaning the state via aircraft, is audibly heard as I'm walking. So what you are listening to is federal group stalking and monitoring as I'm literally documenting them in the psychopath that is the people of the state of California, engaging in the identical behavioral pattern for what is group stalking, because they are monitoring via communication devices is what you are listening to. That is severely demented conduct that is shared amongst the group. It is a demonic monitoring system, and this is what is called the P.O.C. That it's 7:17 p.m. and you literally listen to what was me walking from this location to the Ontario Village Shopping Plaza. Understand, monitor the entire way, and what you witnessed was the state stalking via aircraft, also the indicator of what the people of the state of California are engaged in. It's 7:18 p.m. and that is the P.O.C. All right, I just want to speak to what I just documented as I stopped recording on my podcast and I engage in what is uploading that or attempting to, beginning to, the state immediately that is already present, okay? So you're talking about a plane that's already here, not flying from a distance. It's already here, parked in the sky, ready to engage in creating audible activity and cross path. That's a stalker, that's a psychopath in an airplane hovering, flying directly over, which I zoomed in so you can see how close they are flying over. And that same group stalker who I already documented yesterday, engaging in presence, all right? The same thing as I'm walking down the street and they're in cars. As I sit on a sidewalk inside of a plaza, maintaining presence in that manner, okay? While the state is flying over and stalking, third-party group stalkers surround. That is P.O.C., period, all right? It's 7:20 p.m., and that's 280 North Lemon Apartments where the state is flying over. Following from here all the way to Ontario Village and back, all right? That's P.O.C. Five YUW 975 8 SME 116 7 YAB 653. The state going out of its way to molest my face with light as these group stalkers are at the intersection. They're monitoring. That is 8AK. I can't really see that one. 213 made a U-turn at the intersection. I'm at Euclid and HOLT. They're all monitoring. They're on the traffic cameras. This is where I'm at. They're monitoring. The state is aiming light onto me while they're crossing path. This is 5JKC 681, 8KMB 030, BA 438. That's a handicap plate. All right, and what you have is while I'm walking toward the crosswalk, so I'm walking west on Holt Boulevard on the sidewalk, opposite of the Ontario Health Center, you have third-party group stalkers in relevant position while the state is aiming light onto my face. I'm wearing a big hood, first of all. 17913B3, I'm wearing a big hood, and I'm walking on the sidewalk, and what you have is the manifestation of light onto my face as a third party they're not even turning. This is the state aiming light onto me while they are driving north on Euclid, okay? 7 UIT 105. These are the hallmarks. This is how you know what they are doing. And they are equally psychopaths. I literally captured on video and camera. Look at the timestamp. It was plane after plane after plane after plane after plane. They are psychopaths monitoring. That is exactly what they are doing. They're doing it the same thing in private and commercial vehicles. They are psychopaths. This is a demonic monitoring system. All right. Understand the demonic is that which is demented. It is that which is abnormal and peculiar. Okay. It is that which is very, very disturbed. And it is in plain sight. No longer disguised as what is everyday conduct. It's not. APKU 220 is a psychopath, intentionally present, crossing path, monitoring on behalf of the public entity, the same psychopath that is flying low elevation over a senior citizen apartment complex, plane after plane after plane in helicopters all day long, okay? The same thing they were doing at Woodside Senior Apartments, by the way. Omnitrend is monitoring a psychopath, 1302-442. Understand, they're listening to me. Omnitrans is listening to every word that I'm saying, intentionally present, using its light activity, which that's demonic activity, and it is appearing in your face as hazard lights. It's demonic. They're monitoring, okay? And the psychopath is listening to me document. So they can listen to me document more group stalkers, and I'm also referencing the traffic cameras. 8TQL402, 7CXC208. They're sitting at the traffic light. They're monitoring. They're in relevant position, and they're all touching together. These are they're demon-possessed psychopaths, and they're engaged in a ginormous orgy as they are touching with their weapons of criminal monitoring. That's the literal substance of what they are doing. They're monitoring. These are disturbed individuals. 8LTC622, 6ZHY821, perverts. Okay, sickos, 7HCP569. Okay, a black BMW with a teeny tiny letters on the construction paper on the back of their car, because that psychopath knows that they're being documented. All right, they're not avoiding anything. That's a means of criminal obstruction of justice. This is going toward the prosecution of the people of the state of California, which are one stalking psychopath sex offending group. Okay. On the sidewalk, getting off of Omnitrans, a short little midget with a hat on and a hoodie jacket at the sidewalk right now at the same intersection, getting off of Omnitrans monitoring, and he'll be on camera. It is currently 8:06 p.m. All right. This is license plate crossing path in the Scion with no license plates whatsoever, crossing and passing what is the Omnitrans bus number 2356 that's engaged in monitoring using its hazard lights. Monitoring and criminal facilitation of monitoring. That's what Omnitrans is engaged in. And that blue Scion with no license plates will also be seen on that camera. Okay. This is ongoing monitoring, and they are sickos. As I'm walking through the parking lot after I captured video and pictures, look at the timestamps, because that is telling you the frequency with which they are stalking. People of the state of California engage in that same demented conduct. 74469J1. 771-6496, 7XKS162, 7JZA625, 8HYP626. Understand they are engaged in that same identical conduct, and it is that which is, while I'm walking through the parking lot after capturing those images, and the time is what is telling. All right, this is long documented conduct. But I just made another example of what is stalking, blatant stalking by a government, and doing it in the incredible manner of airplanes and helicopter, okay? This is already established. This is just yet another example, which is already complete, okay? The timestamp alone is letting you know how much of a psychopath stalker the state of California is. And it is that which is, after I leave, and I publish all that on the Google Share Drive already, what you have are the state using the lights in the parking lot. So they're all out. As I walk in the parking lot, lights are coming on as I approach that area, literally treating them as motion lights in the parking lot. As I arrive, light comes on. And guess what the group stalkers, the people of South California, are doing? Sitting around in their cars in the parking lot, driving past on B Street. They're monitoring while the state is surrounding me with that light activity. 85437A3. And the state is also aiming multiple lights on me as I have shadows, more than one of my own shadow on the sidewalk while I'm walking. Psychopath. 6LOD351. That's monitoring conduct. It is also demonic. Okay? That's demonic. That is conduct that is inspired by that which is satanic. 7TIY841. 139TC. Okay, and understand the third-party group stalkers are merely patrolling on the crosswalk. They're monitoring. This is monitoring on foot, acting with the stalkers that are in their vehicles, acting with Omnitrans, okay, that is engaging in using their hazard lights. This is public corruption in plain sight. This is group stalking for the purpose of criminal monitoring on a corporate scale. This is a government entity acting in this manner, and these are all the ways in which they're doing so. 7THY495, psychopath, all right? Engaging in satanic conduct. That which is of the satanic is very likely to be criminal. 6KR, I can't really see that one. 8HDK 252, and this happens to be of a criminal level that is unprecedented, not even addressed in federal legislation. That is what is typically characteristic of that which is of the demonic, by the way. But it is demented conduct. It is that which seeks to portray itself as everyday normal conduct. It's malicious, okay? And it is that of a psychopath. 8THB 372, and that's why they go to that effort to appear as it is everyday normal conduct, and it is not, because the psychopath knows that it's illegal. The psychopath knows that it's very weird, that it's freakish and abnormal and demented. They know that, okay? So this is how you have what are the engagement in the criminal elements perpetually and what is everyday conduct, all right? The ordinary target individual having no idea that they're being monitored by the government. I had no idea for years, okay? The state engages in kidnapping and stealing property and all manner of illegality, EY 208, and violence upon my becoming aware of it, all right? That's criminal obstruction of justice. That's built into the pattern of conduct. That is to be implemented in the prosecution of the people's state of California. All right, they're monitoring every step of the way. They are hand in hand with that monitoring conduct, hand in hand with kidnapping, hand in hand with that sexual violence, hand in hand with that theft of property, the state doing it in concert with them and through them, okay? That is to go to prosecution. This is, let's see, 7HXM 820, 8SBM 765, 8MDD 773. Omnitrans on both sides of the street, number 2356, and also on the opposite side of the street. And what you have is while these psychopaths are driving past on Euclid Avenue, just like I showed you at Coin Laundry, those psychos that were in the laundromat monitoring and their humongous shadows on the side of that wall inside there, what you have are the cars, humongous shadows on this brick wall, okay? Omnitrans creating light activity under those circumstances and the state flying over the same intersection, monitoring, right? Omnitrans is a sex offender engaged in that pattern of conduct. Its logo, its company name, its reputation is in no way clean whatsoever. They are representing that same criminal conduct, representing that same threat, monitoring American citizens, and doing so while in real-time awareness of that American citizens' knowledge, all right? Waging a threat, all right? That's going to be presented. JRX 2177, 8TYG 301, 8P14518. That's a paper plate. And this is this is the absence of coincidence. 7ZEF 165. A whole bunch of disturbed people. Very, very disturbed. And I'm showing them in their true colors. 56610D2. Where you're looking at a helicopter flying over my head at the Walmart, what you see, that big logo, that's the true identity of that company, okay? That's the true identity of the government that's monitoring. That's the true identity of each and every single last one of them that I continue to document. That's the real them. That's the real identity, not what they want you to see, okay? Not the do-good that they're showing on television and what they're publishing in their own documents to the public. They are psychopaths. Systematically monitoring American citizens. Systematically. AV 63198, that's a paper plate. Monitoring as the state is acting with Omnitrans. That is now going southbound. Monitoring via train activity. 5GEF 845. And understand, engaging in the P.O.C, this is including online venues. Google and YouTube. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr. They are in no way removed whatsoever. Reddit. This is the prosecution of this entire system in every way that entity engages in operating what is federal group stalking and monitoring and criminal obstruction of justice, seeking to conceal that criminal conduct that's posing a direct threat to the life of that targeted individual. Understand how this criminal conduct right here is directly implicating Google and YouTube. Wants to engage in concealing that which is serving to my ability to confront my rights and constitutionally and human rights, all right? Google is directly engaged in that. Understand that, okay? And that's how federal law is going to treat that. That's how federal law is going to treat that. This is showing how all of those parts fit together, how the government operates through the people. Google represents the people. Walmart represents the people who are perverts. They're psychopaths. They are stalkers. 8RUS 352. 7MES 703. They're criminals engaging in actively trying to cover up that conduct. I am one that they are not stuffing into a mental ward and they're not silencing. I am one that's going to let you know what's really going on. Amazon is a threat to society, a threat to American citizens. Walmart is a threat to American citizens wanting to make all that money and engaging in monitoring American citizens. 6MHZ231. The people of the state of California, the very government, the public entity is a threat, all right? A threat, a criminal, a sex offender, all right? That's the truth. And that's based on documentation, evidence, direct evidence, irrefutable and insurmountable evidence. All of these psychopaths keep on coming and you just named them. Every aspect of this is to be addressed under federal law. They are escaping nothing. Understand what they are doing on the internet. That's going to be addressed under federal law. The people of the state of California, the government is escaping nothing. This is all serving an ultimate purpose, which is to comprehensively prosecute. Comprehensively. The psychopaths that are in their car monitoring on the one, they're going to be treated as the psychopaths they are. 6UDS 473, 7RLJ 483, 7VZC 622, 7, I can't really see the rest of that one, 7BY 963, substantially similar. I'll get the rest of that played in a second. They are beyond the term of weirdos, but weirdos fits. But these are weirdos that are engaged in unprecedented criminal conduct. These are weirdos who know that they are engaging in wrong, who know that they are systematically violating another person, okay? In the same way that the state knows exactly where I am, they represent the state that is acting through them. Okay, they have issues while they have minor children engaging in this criminal conduct. All right, that's to be addressed under federal law. You are not going to be a federal group stalker and engage in working as a kindergarten teacher, working around minor children. You're going to be treated as the stalker and the sex offender that you are. And you are an exceedingly violent sex offender. This is of a federal nature. This is all of that which is to be addressed under federal law. This is all of that which is to be addressed under federal law. Touching while crossing paths. 05476J2, 84945G2, 7G14514. Uh, 8TGM142. Okay, state is directly over the intersection via aircraft. Okay, these freaks have issues. 8DUR 307. 5ZXX184. 8FEN or ENA 667. 7WBA 342. R583EO 2TO1. Can't really see the rest of them. 7VBB 265. Issues, serious issues. You need to know what the true identity of these psychopaths are, okay? Hiding behind a uniform, a title, a race, okay? You have a lot of presumptions behind certain age brackets, somebody with a certain income, somebody with a particular background. Understand, this is that which is perpetuated in California, where an entity is monitoring. These are that which are exploited under such system, and understand that they are legally irrelevant. They are legally irrelevant. The oldest geezer that you can fathom with liver spots and no hair, really about to keel over and die, monitoring with regard, in addition to the minors that are under 18, monitoring, okay, in concert with their sicko parents, okay, monitoring. All of these false presumptions, all of these false assumptions, they are legally irrelevant. This is that which this entire system is built on. You're stripping it down to the elements. And as they engage in the elements, they're engaging in systematic violation of the person, all right, and intentionally so. All right, it does not get any more violent with regard to a sex offender, all right? You're not just talking about one sex offender. You're talking about the government, and you're talking about the government that's engaged in group violation of your person, all right, over and over and over again with a weapon of criminal activity, their like conduct, okay, which is entirely satanic, all right, entirely. This is license plate 8TWJ752, audible activity and touching. This is 6RNY241. This is license plate 5LU-J057. 8JMB 884. I can't really see that one. 04337B1. This is 5E45. 5E45045, I believe. It is currently 8:19 p.m. This is license 7EQ-Z524. It's 8:20 p.m. And so, like I said, it is absolutely, this is what prefaces, this is already established, okay? I've already connected all the dots. This is group stalking and monitoring, and these are psychopaths equally stalking with the state, as I've shown in airplanes and helicopters 7373 OY2. And you literally have what is, as they are driving south on Euclid Avenue at the turn signal, which is in no way aiming headlights even in the direction as I'm walking on the sidewalk, but light appearing on my face as I have a large hood on. So this is the state aiming light, all right, while they're at the intersection. 7LUW671. Begging for more criminals and stalkers and sex offenders to be identified. 6ECK279. 6SSW361. 8DSG167. And this is after I got plane after plane after plane after plane after plane after plane flying over 280 North Lemon Apartments. All right, psychopaths. It's satanic, okay? It's demented. It's not your average criminal conduct. 6SCE455. 5LVD 099, 6TQR 999, 6ENE 652, 8NCC 428. Helicopter flying over Metro 1 or 2 apartments. ZYN385. This is literally rounding up the entirety of the group. Understand what the state is doing in relevant position, flying over like the psychopath it is in a helicopter over Metro 102 apartments. That's what it was doing while I was at Chili's restaurant. That is intentional audible activity. Understand? So are you getting what there's a pattern here. There is no noise that's created. That's audible activity. That's a term of art for that. That is occurring while they're in relevant position. The state is stalking. They're creating light. That's monitoring. Psychopaths intentionally creating that. 8PBX522, a rapist in a van, monitoring me to that. 7Z03, can't really see the rest of that. Looks like a rapist. Probably is a rapist. He's into monitoring American citizens, into sexual violence. All right, engaged in real-time listening, monitoring while you're in the bathroom. 7WLN418 included in that. All right, he shouldn't be around any minor children. Needs to be prosecuted and exposed as the federal group stalker and sex offender, exceedingly violent sex offender of the most violent nature. That's what it is when the public entity is monitoring you, and that is sexually violent conduct. 83686, P.O.C, crossing path. That's exactly what it is when the public entity is monitoring you. It is of the most violent form of sexual violence. And this is based on the nature of the crime, and it is based on, and that is criminal, and it is monitoring, and it is that which is corporate, okay? You cannot fathom the level of invasion of privacy that these psychopaths are just systematically doing while they're acting as though they're normal, and they are not, okay? Psychopaths that know that it's weird. They know that it's wrong. They know it's illegal. They know it's abnormal. They know they don't want that out and exposed. 23371Y2. That's a sicko, okay? That's a psychopath. 6KZY699. That is the definition of a psychopath. 8KFB634, substantially similar. Omnitrans 1545813. And now the state is flying over 150 East HOLT, okay? Very targeted conduct. Directly incriminating Omnitrans as a sex offender, I'm telling you that they are. 7VRC286. 29389P1. While the state's flying over 150 East Holt Boulevard, Omnitrans on my opposite side, creating light activity. Group stalkers 8BUK913, Crossing path 5YTW200 8LXT897 7VZLV009 P.O.C. All right? State is now flying over where I'm at over here, not over 280 North Lemon Apartments, not even close, not even in that direction, flying where I am. Okay? I've already established this. This is exactly how you know what these psychopaths are doing. 8NCC 497, 7U94307. And again, this is directly tethered to the internet venues and their criminal facilitation, posing a direct threat. 8CED 085. Posing a direct threat. 5CCG 087, posing a very potent threat, engaged in the P.O.C. Seven CKC 267. CPH 377, 7TTR, I can't really see that one. 7HWW577, 3NH, I can't really see the rest of that plate. They are driving northbound on Euclid Avenue, past Omnitrans. 8PVL226, which is maintaining intentional presence. Understand, they're not just running a bus line, a transit line. Omnitrans engages in deviating from its own bus schedules and routes, documented conduct while on the bus. I get on one route, they totally change the route in order to keep me on a path where it's fake light, the sun, which was engaged. The state was engaged in aiming that sunlight onto the bus. This is documented P.O.C. All right, Omnitrans engaged in the same intentional conduct. All right, under the guise of running a transit line of a bus. They're monitoring. Ontario Police driving south on Euclid Avenue from Holt Boulevard. 8ROU 694. 8678 7X1. 7EOU70. I can't really see that one. Omnitrans crossing path again. 1327. License plate 1370398. 8H 83560, substantially similar. 7ZTU226. Omnitrans northbound is now pulling off. Understand, they're monitoring together, maintaining presence there intentionally and listening to every word that I'm uttering. All right? This is no ordinary engagement in presence and driving by and running a bus line and the police driving past. They're stalking. They are group stalking, and they're psychopaths. And guess what? In that forum, Omnitrans is going to regret it. The same psychopaths using their planes and their vehicles to group stalk FedEx, UPS, USPS, Amazon. They're going to regret it on that day. While the psychopath is engaging in it now, honey, Google is not helping. Google is speaking to what needs to be additional federal law and how you are going to prosecute an entity, a party such as Google and YouTube. 7ZRW897 and how you legislate over a company, an entity, a venue such as Google. That's what this is speaking to. 7AX8065 is no way being sheltered by varying the internet search results and burying the YouTube page where I publish on my podcast all of these psychopaths' license plates, all right, and all of the video, the substantial video. This is going to how you prosecute and how you structure the law, all right, and that goes for the state as well. Their use of their emergency vehicles, these company vehicles, all of that is going to be addressed. Nothing is being avoided whatsoever. You are understanding how you're going to structure the law. These are means of criminal obstruction of justice. This is also the exposure of the true identity of every single last one of them. You're seeing the true identity. You know them by their deeds, by what they're doing, not what they want you to see them doing, but that which they don't want you to see. They really don't want you to see them doing. That's why they engage in criminal acts of obstruction of justice. That is license plate 7XM. I can't really see the rest of that one. Let's see. I can't see that one either. What time is it? It is 8:28 p.m. And I'm at the intersection of, the same intersection of Euclid and Holt. Now driving westbound on Holt. 8GQU865, 7PO6073. There is not enough money. There is not enough influence. There is not enough political, whatever they think they are, whoever they think they are. I know who they think they are because they have these names, these brands. I am speaking to the prosecution of all of that, okay? There is nothing whatsoever that's going to stop the exposure of the true identity of these companies that are waging a threat against American citizens. Nothing whatsoever. Acting in concert with everyday criminals. That's what the people of the state of California are. They're everyday criminals, and they are engaged in that which is an unprecedented level of criminal conduct, and they're going to be dealt with. The people of the state of California include those companies, and that is that which is to be fully exposed. This is documentation speaking to the engagement in that criminal conduct. 8RDW 240. Or substantially similar, and it's in no way avoiding, much like Ontario police. Jason Knighton hasn't escaped anything. I told him on the night that he kidnapped me. He just made my case. You just sealed it shut. This is that which is documentation speaking to how you prosecute, how you structure law. That's what this is all serving the purpose of. Because you can mark my words. This is going to be an epic prosecution, and some of the largest names. I'm talking about Amazon. I'm talking about every single last company who's engaging in crossing path and all these elements right now while they're monitoring, and the psychopaths are listening to me document. They're going to be prosecuted for that. Every single infliction of criminal conduct. 8UGG 348. So that's why I say have a field day. Enjoy it while you can. Because that prosecution is going to be, something. It's going to be epic. And it's going to create a lot of law that needs to exist. And this documentation is showing you why it needs to exist. Seven VMS 226. Yeah. 5 TCE 159, 8K JX 325, BJ 91K01, paper 6UAA 658, 6K SK 803, 8 FPC 509, 8 MP, can't really see the rest of that one. This is 139 TC, a handicap plate on a truck. BG 67176, that is a paper plate. It is currently 8:31 p.m. $8LL Z07, can't really see that one. Let's see if it was a little too far on the opposite side of the street. In terms of 8:32 p.m. This is, let's see. Four NIB 309, I believe. 8 FRC 248, and 8 NLU 597. That's a group stalker passing the traffic cameras and approaching the ones on Vine. And no way avoiding being documented. They're just avoiding being named on my podcast. All right, it's currently 8:33 p.m. Group stalkers in traffic, group stalkers in the parking lot across from Metro 102 apartments, doing the same thing. Sitting at the traffic light is aiming headlights in your direction. Sitting in the parking lot is doing the same. That's what they're doing across the street. Demented people. Demented. 8, let's see. CDK 696. 8DNH 531. Substantially similar. I can't really see that one. All right, these group stalkers are all sitting in their cars at the traffic light, monitoring, listening to every word I'm saying, stalking with light, stalking in relevant position. Driving west on Holt Boulevard now. This is 7UJZ 408, 8 PKC 909, 7J, I can't really see the rest of that plate, 7 PPD 8687, 3634 D2, 4 EPD 236, 21412C2, 5LIE 972. Group stalker driving north on Euclid Avenue and then turning east onto Transit. Understand, they're monitoring as well. They remain in relevant position. This is, and by the way, it's 8:35 p.m. It is, let me see. $8:35 p.m. Let's see, 8 RDZ 972 and 7 XVC 324. BJ43H23, a paper plate, and a black Range Rover. The paper plates are means of criminal destruction. All right, they got them on brand new cars. They got them on super duper old cars. These are means of covering up their license plate. 4YAJ180. Substantially similar. It is currently 8:36 p.m. As I start walking across the street, you got a group stalker that is engaging in maintaining presence, 6V CT 816. All right, suddenly changes his mind, not driving straight, is going to make a turn on Euclid Avenue. They are all engaged in the same intentional presence, group stalking. That's what he did. And that looked like a Latino male driving a black Mercedes. All right. Did not suddenly just change his mind to turn. I started walking back through the crosswalk. So he is crossing path using his headlights as a means of that light activity and crossing path. 7MPZ 539. When I say psychopaths engaged in the identical behavioral pattern, that's exactly what I mean. This is not ordinary traffic. This is group stalking in motion. This is... I can't see that one. Okay, serious issues that need to be handled in a federal court on the public scene. 38711V2. Serious issues, okay? 8T3, let me see, 8TSC. I'll get that one in a minute. 7 POV 642, 8TSC 598. All right, I'm gonna cross the street now. I am going to be seen on the traffic cameras at this time. What is it? 8:38 p.m. Crossing the street, going toward the museum. And it is, like I said, 8:38 p.m. You see who's crossing path. Only one. The white Toyota Camry. That is license plates over here. 17734E2, 8RYB434, 8HJG164. All right, third-party group stalker that turns west onto Transit on the northbound side of Euclid. They're group stalking. They're in relevant position. It's P.O.C. Okay? It's just like in the parking lot. They're cockroaches. They're swarming all over the place to maintain presence. They're just moving light all around. That's all that they're doing, while the state is aiming light as well, because their headlights are not super duper powerful like that, like I've documented, reaching all the way to the museum wall from the intersection. It's ridiculous. 3 EBC 573. 5XAF037 is sex offender psychopath monitoring. 11036J2. AS86Y96, the same, sex offender psychopath group stalking. 6RKX726, psychopaths. Listening to every word I'm saying while they're monitoring on the run. Okay, engaging in sexual violence on the run. STP833. I can't really see that one. What time is it now? I am at Transit and Euclid Avenue. Again, the state is always stalking. It's the same psychopath, sex offending group stalker. Okay, always stalking them in planes and helicopters. They have issues engaging in that against an American citizen. While, mind you, they are listening because they're monitoring their own criminal conduct, literally monitoring their impending prosecution and their exposure as the sickos that they are, helping to create legislation against itself and every other government engaged in this sort of conduct. And that's what they are participating in, their own destruction, which is inevitable. You don't get to this height for no reason. It's not idle. Understand, what Google is doing is serving an ultimate purpose. You're going to structure law to deal with that. 7YLD288, because that's not going to happen, and I am advocating on behalf of the target individual who is not going to go through that. We're going to handle that. 6AXT357, 7UXL688, 8BT J534, I believe, 7XVY676. It is 8:41 p.m. and that's a good 38 minutes of documenting third-party group stalkers. Understand, this third-party group stalker in a Jeep, and I'm referencing the traffic cameras. He's coming out on Transit. He's group stalking 8LQB 327, substantially similar, driving north on Euclid Avenue. It's P.O.C. He's group stalking. He's maintaining presence as I am standing on the sidewalk getting those other license plates. Maintaining presence, all right? Making sure someone is here as I engage in movement from that sidewalk back to my luggage carrier to walk on the museum grounds. Okay, that's P.O.C. That is psychopath stalking, and they do it corporately. While they are driving by and listening to every word that you're saying while they're monitoring. The jig is up. Okay, the entirety of the jig is up. We already know what the police are doing. Understand, I'm focusing on these psychopaths, the people that incorporate the state, because this is going to their prosecution. And there is absolutely no form, meaning there is no guise under which there is no veil that is in any way providing any other appearance of what it is other than engagement in the criminal elements of monitoring and doing it vicariously on behalf of that public entity. That is group stalking and monitoring. And so as the state engages in that ongoing conduct, they earn themselves another 40 minutes of documenting group stalkers. And so that's what we got. It is 8:42 p.m. The state is always stalking via aircraft, planes, helicopters, police, fire, and ambulance, who, by the way, the entire time are remaining in relevant position, not only driving by conspicuously, as I stated on my podcast, Ontario police, group stalkers, sex offenders, thieves, liars, all right? Literally paranoid level stalking conduct. They're really freaks. They are psychopaths in police uniforms for the city of Ontario, engaging in conspicuous presence on the traffic cameras on my podcast, but engaging in the entirety of time, inconspicuously maintaining perpetual presence. They are group stalking and monitoring, to all of whom I am documenting and more, because that's just a sample of third parties. And again, monitoring via communication devices spans beyond Euclid and HOLT. Relevant positioning, monitoring with communication devices, there is a radius, and it is beyond my immediate environment, beyond what I can see, okay? They're on the back streets, they're all around the perimeter, and understand, the same entity that is psychotic and flying plane after plane after plane after plane after plane after plane after plane, okay, is maintaining presence all around at all times. These psychopaths that I'm naming by license plate, image, address, or name, they are the ones that are in close quarters maintaining activity around me so that everyone is able to continue monitoring. All right, that's how that system is working. And those psychopaths are always present. All right, they maintain presence. That's what group stalking is, and that is what they are doing. All right, and as I am at the museum, that is what continues. It's 8:44 p.m. and that is the P.O.C.
right, as I stated on my podcast, the state that remains present, as I stated in real time when I was documenting license plates of third parties, the people of the state of California monitoring on the run in traffic, and I'm telling you the state is present by aircraft, the state's flying over the intersections, the state is flying by helicopter over Metro 1 and 2 apartments. This is the state that I just captured, that I'm capturing right now. It is flying in a circle right here in alignment to me at the museum. I just captured video and ongoing pictures as this is a psychopath flying in a circle in a relevant position. That's monitoring conduct. Understand this is also demonic activity. All right. This is the highly peculiar, demented conduct that is designed to monitor, and it is a psychopath operating a helicopter. That's what I'm documenting right now. That's what I captured in picture and video. And this is that which I have ample video and documentation of it. The state was engaged in this conduct all day long, flying over 280 North Lemon Apartments, now flying over what is the museum where I'm at. Okay, it does not get any more direct than this. What the people of the state of California are engaged in is no mystery whatsoever. And who it is doing it in concert with is this psychopath that's engaged in the same identical behavior pattern. Okay, and that is speaking to everyone that I just got through naming on my podcast. Understand the state's conduct is directly incriminating the people of the state of California. They are already prosecuted. They are literally providing an ongoing real-life tutorial of how a government monitors and how it is in need of fierce federal prosecution and laws to deal with that which is satanic conduct, which is dealing with the mental, all right? This is serious psychopath conduct, and that is to be dealt with at prosecution, all right? The state is flying around in a circle continuously, and I'm going to go ahead and get more pictures of that. Okay, it's 8:54 p.m. As I just captured, I did capture more pictures of it. Understand the psychopath that's engaging in that conduct in your face, speaking to what is a psychopath, which is operating as a group, okay? You have that which would ordinarily be assigned to an individual operating over an expansive group. That is the people of the state of California. That is the literal public entity, okay? It's group psychopath conduct. And that is possible because that is what you are witnessing. And that is relevant context going to prosecution and how you prosecute, okay? And also the laws. When you engage in this sort of demonic psychopath stalking and sexual violence while you're monitoring, there's going to be repercussions for that and necessary with regard to the mental. There's some mental issues there, and it's revealing that through the behavioral pattern. I did go ahead and take more pictures as I stated on my podcast. You're going to want to take a look at those. Look at the timestamp. You're talking about, I just finished my podcast. The state was stalking the entire time. It is in no way separation of the conduct. It is entirely connected. This is the state that is monitoring while I am at that intersection. Third-party group stalkers are chiefly creating that audible activity in traffic and using the train. The state is maintaining presence flying over by commercial plane and by helicopter. As I walk to the museum, which is literally feet away from that intersection, the state engages in this psychopath flying in a circle conduct, which I have tons of videos of this. It's monitoring, but understand that is demonic, okay? I have documented and witnessed third parties, individuals, people that engage in the same exact conduct, walking in front of me in a circle, walking around me in a circle. It's monitoring, but it is demonic. The state is doing it in a helicopter, okay? Understand that. This is demented group conduct. Every single last one of them, like I stated, whose license plate, meaning as I am identifying them, and even if they're engaging in putting fake paper plates on their license, on their cars, even if they're trying to speed off to avoid being named on my podcast, they're not avoiding anything. This is going to the entirety of the group, which are the people of the state of California. And not only that, you're talking about literally, if you really want to get down to it, you're talking about a very thorough, comprehensive prosecution where you can literally name every single person in this city within a radius with regard to location. And I believe that that is necessary. But there are ways that you can go to and go about with regard to the federal government and federal law and prosecuting the people that constitute that state who are engaged in this criminal conduct. And so that is what I captured on video, and it is entirely related. The state engaged in this conduct all day long. Okay, so when I'm talking about the monitoring maggot, okay,
That's exactly what he is. He's a minion. He was monitoring using his skateboard. The black female who was beside me in the hallway, let me see, at the covered walkway of the Ontario OVITT Family Library, engaging in literally uttering gibberish. Understand, that's the same thing. Making noise with your skateboard, making noise with your mouth, all right? The state engaging in what you witnessed on my podcast, third-party group stalker, maintaining presence under the same walkway, under the state's fake sun, while the state is stalking by plane and helicopter, and using their communication device, playing on speakerphone. It's audible activity. This is what they're doing all day long. It's monitoring, and you are looking at every way in which you can fathom. And it's really not hard if you are looking at the basic elements. It's creation of audible activity. Anything you can hear, anything that you can hear. Coughing, all right? Dragging your feet on the ground, all right? Using your baby, you can pinch your baby so your baby starts crying. Anything that you can hear. And understand, it doesn't matter who is making the noise. You're talking about the maintenance of activity while you're in relevant position, okay? And they're engaging in that in concert with this entity that is engaging in the psychopath behavioral pattern of flying over me in a circle, okay? Third parties do the same thing, and they do it in their vehicles. They do it on foot. They do it on a bike. They do it on a skateboard. All right. It's demented. All right. They have issues. Okay. Understand. Walmart, McDonald's, Amazon, FedEx, UPS, USPS, Omnitrans, the Metrolink, all of these companies that have documented where I've been subject to this criminal conduct that is very highly peculiar. Not only is it weird, okay, and it's satanic, all right, while they're engaging in this freakish criminal conduct, you're talking about these companies that are facilitating it, that are directly engaged in it, using their logos, using their company vehicles, using their company planes, so that this entity can monitor me. This is all going to be a matter of federal prosecution, okay? They are psychopaths. It does not matter what your company name is. It does not matter what your personal name is. It does not matter what your status is. Understand that the elements are the elements, period. That's how the entity monitors. That's how it works. It works through the people. It works through the companies. It works through the institutions. And understand that those companies, those institutions, those people are engaging in satanic group conduct. And that is the bottom line. That's P.O.C. It's 9 p.m.